Riverside FM.
It's lights out and away we go.
I'm Tyler,
And I'm CJ.
and this is the Firekeeper Casino 400. Man, these names are getting weird. Oh, right. NASCAR never really has any good news going into
Well,
each week.
Echo-
we had
Atlanta's track name changed.
to
It's now Echo Park Speedway.
No one cares. We're still going to call it Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's better. You'll actually know what we're talking about.
Now let's talk about the Hovercar Stenhouse incident. I mean, we are completely on Hovercar's side. I mean, I get it. It was kind of unnecessary. He didn't have to run him into the wall. It was funny, and I don't get why people are defending a field filler that has been in NASCAR for as long as I've been aware of the sport and passively following it, and hasn't done anything. So Stenhouse is just a glorified field filler that's been there for a decade on and off. And Hocevar is an up-and-coming dude who actually has a shot at winning it. So I don't get why people are taking Stenhouse's side.
But yeah, Stenhouse is
That's
just
my hot take.
been in the sport for a while. He's got a reputation. And one of the prime commentators were talking about this in the race, but when Hovercar gets a win, then people will probably start defending him a bit more because he'll actually have proven himself in the sport. Right now, he's just the go for it all, highly aggressive driver, has no reputation to back him. Stenhouse, he has the reputation of a handful of wins in the sport, and he's been well established. Meanwhile, yes.
Yes, I mean, we know Hocevar can win. We saw Atlanta, where if a caution hadn't ended the race, he would have been like milliseconds off the win. Charlotte, he had a really good shot at it, but engine failure. And then this week, I will get to what happened this week. He can win. He will win. If not this season, next season.
It is a matter of when he will win, and if he will win.
All right. That pretty much wraps up the storylines going into this week.
And there's also the in-season challenge beginning with the seeding.
Explain that, 'cause I don't get it.
The highest seeded driver will be whoever finishes the highest over these next three races here in Michigan, and then in Mexico City, and then Pocono. And the tiebreaker will be second highest finish, and a further tiebreaker will be third highest finish. And after the seeding, the drivers will get paired. One is paired with 32, 2 and 31, and so on. And they will be competing head-to-head against each other. Echo Park Speedway, I can't say Atlanta Speedway anymore. And whichever driver in the pair finishes higher will move on to the next round in a knockout-style elimination tournament. So Echo Park Speedway will host the round of 32, and then the Chicago Street Race will host the second round of 16. Then Sonoma will do the round of 8. Dover will be the round of 4, and the championship will be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Garrett 400.
Personally, I don't like the way that schedule is designed because that's 2 road courses in the tournament, which I don't think.
SVG's got a shot.
Which means SVG does have a shot if he can survive the drafting track. But
I mean, hey, SVG was 18th. This is the first time I've seen him outside in the top 20 in a while. So.
It is impressive. Yeah, he's getting better. But 2 road courses in a tournament, I don't think works very well. Especially, it doesn't really reflect NASCAR all that well. So I think we could probably replace it with the true mile and a half instead of Sonoma. I think that could probably go more in the spring where it usually goes.
I understand that.
That would be a better place for it.
I do think moving Sonoma to the spring would be good because we've had one road course. We've had Coda, and that's it. Like, spread out the road courses a little bit.
Yeah, we don't want to clump them all together because we now have 3 of the road course races with Prime and TNT, which also, networks, listen to this. Road courses are terrible races, except for Chicago. You don't want the road courses because they bring down rating values because they're terrible races unless they're in the playoffs. That's the only exception to the fact that road courses are terrible races generally. So you want fewer than more.
I think we're good on that. Let's jump into the race weekend. Briscoe was fast.
He's been
all
fast again,
weekend.
back-to-back poles for the 19 car.
Yep.
He's fast on
Fastest in
qualifying.
practice, fastest in qualifying, and just was showing really good pace. In practice, there was only one Ford in the top 10, and then there were only 3 in qualifying. So definitely a Toyota and Chevy heavy. That rhymes. Top 10s at the start, but
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't
There was
a
Chris
horrible
Buescher.
spread.
He ran well as a triple top 10 result for RFK. So not lacking pace, especially since Buescher won stage 1, and then Penske was able to run up front pretty well with Cindric getting second place in stage 2.
We'll get to
But
what we think of the Cindric call.
Generally the other 2 manufacturers were faster.
Yes, but not by a huge margin.
Yes. And in the manufacturers championship, it's not good for Ford because they are last out of the 3. And they have many more cars than Toyota does. And Toyota's still ahead of them. So definitely need to step it up there.
Yeah, stage 1 was boring. I think like the Prime, I love that Prime has like a feature that lets you go back and
The
like it
rapid
shows you the
recap,
highlights
yes,
as you're watching.
I definitely
I
utilized
love
that.
Yes.
There was some passing for the lead though, some solid
Yeah,
racing though.
those are the only 2 things that got marked when Byron and Hamlin and Buescher all took the leads. Like those are the only things that happened in stage 1. It was there was only one stop, which was
Daniel Suarez pitting from
Suarez
28th with a vibration.
One of his tires had a blister on it, so that was the only stop in the whole stage.
Yes, he did rebound and got 14th for you Suarez
Pretty
fans
good
out there.
recovery after.
Yeah, top 20 win with a solo green flag pit is an impressive day. But yes, William Byron dominates early, and then William Byron does not dominate early. Chase Briscoe gets the lead early, and then Byron gets past Briscoe at lap 12, and then 12 laps around about 12 laps later, Buescher is able to catch up to Byron, but ultimately passes him on lap 36. And then Buescher ultimately wins the stage, and that was about stage 1. And then you have the Penske's able to come in front early with Brian Blaney. Brian Blaney taking the green flag for stage 2. Yes, and that's when Hovercar entered the picture for the race.
Yeah.
And he was able to get position early. And Chase Elliott kind of gets in front early in lap 57, early in stage 2.
Yeah, it's rare these days.
Yes, and then Denny Hamlin had a moment. He dropped down to 11th. And then we had our first caution for incident with John Hunter Nemechek and Noah Gragson. Good riddance. They get involved. It takes out Gragson. And that creates some strategy variation with a handful of cars opting to pit. And Ryan Preece also tops off. And then Chase Elliott stays out. And then we get to another caution with Cole Custer battling and Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman gets hit, and there's a very big impact, 170 miles per hour into the wall. Good thing that Bowman was out.
Yeah, even though we don't like him, we're glad he got off safely.
Yes, yeah, we don't want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah, no.
That would not be a good thing. But I'm glad he was out of the race.
Yeah, the wreck was really Cindric came up, bumped Cole Custer, who clipped Daniel Suarez in the back and then threw. It was just a domino effect that threw Bowman into the wall. And then Suarez had very, very minor damage. Like, I don't even think he hit the wall. Briscoe had a bit, his rear bumping into the wall a bit, but it was Bowman that came out horribly that they had to red flag it to clean it up. But he got out of the car, walked over to the ambulance under his own strength, so we're glad he was okay.
And was able to do an interview after getting cleared from the
Yeah.
infield coach center. And then that creates one of the biggest strategy gambles of the weekend, with Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell staying out on lap 68 for Bowman's wreck. And then, let's see, and then we have our restart with Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell. Chase Elliott gets the lead, and then we have another caution. John Hunter Nemechek involved once again.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott ends up pitting, and Christopher Bell ultimately
Stays
takes
out.
the lead, and he has the capability to do that because he has 3 wins in the bank already, so might as well try it.
Yeah, we
Meanwhile,
see that
Chase
come to play
Elliott does
with
not
Button at
have
the
the
end
win,
too.
and he needs to make sure that he can be as well equipped as possible to point his way in if necessary for the playoffs. And Christopher Bell ultimately tries to take the lead, but he does not get the caution to save the fuel he needs and pits on lap 106. The good news is that he doesn't end up going a full lap down on Michigan because of the nature of the track. Or he goes just a little bit of a lap down, but
Yeah,
it's not a huge penalty. He can get he can get past pretty quickly. And
he was a
then
lap
Ryan,
down.
yes, and unfortunate timing, Ryan Blaney spins,
The lap
and
after.
the lap after when he just loses it, and we get a couple takers, or actually most everyone takes, including except for Cindric, Dillon, and Briscoe, and William Byron comes off pit road first, and then Christopher
Again,
Bell gets the free pass.
yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't really think that the Blaney spin warranted a caution because he spun down pit road. I guess if they were figuring someone was coming to a green flag stop, but I didn't think it warranted throwing the caution. But it did make for an exciting end of the stage.
Yes, and I think for the caution there, I think it was thrown because I think the main thing is whether they're going to have to get emergency vehicles out or not. And I think also at the same time, whoever's throwing the caution has to make a split second decision, because the longer you wait to throw a caution, the more at risk other drivers might be. So, yeah, I think what NASCAR needs is some defined limits for what constitutes a caution, because I think it's pretty objective or subjective as to what a caution is, and I think that might might be heavily dependent on the marshal's opinion on
Yeah.
what needs to happen and the race control's decision. So I think we need a bit more structure on that. We've had incidences where they're all wrecking at Daytona at the 500 at the beginning of the season, and it stays green. In the following race, they all wreck, and a caution is thrown, and they don't race to the flag. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. We need some defined limits for this.
Cindric makes the Penske's. It was definitely a risky gamble since Cindric. I mean, the main goal of this was to go ahead and get a playoff point for winning the stage because Cindric already has the win from Talladega in the bag. But it was
Right. He's
definitely
all
a
good.
bigger gamble than it should have been just because of the Penske's were not running insanely well this weekend.
But I think that's what you really need is you want to get the point. Get the points.
Yeah,
Try and get
there's no real
something
harm in going for it.
right. And of course all three of your drivers have a win in the bag now. So you can do it's all you really need is stage wins and actual wins. That's all you can do to really improve your position in the playoffs. Unless the impossible happens and 16 individual drivers get a win, which I highly doubt will happen because it has never happened.
Somebody's gonna
Yes,
be making it to the playoff.
Austin Cindric made a statement with his defense in stage 2. He was running so well, but managed to bring the car home in seconds, which is good, but there's really no results there because you don't get the playoff point. But he ran pretty well despite being on old tires. So
that brought us to the end of stage 2, the probably most chaotic of the
yeah,
stages.
the most chaotic of the stages. And yes.
Yeah, and then
Yes, I
at the
would like to
stage,
note something funny that Shannon Spake said in the stage 2, almost like the stage 2 report. But She said that, we usually get green flag pit stops in stage 3 here in Michigan. And I hate to break it to you, but that's kind of true on every racetrack.
Yeah,
Stage 3
because
green
stage
flag
3
pit
is the
stops.
longest stage.
Yes, it's almost always the longest stage. And I think if you've only been watching on Prime, you can figure out that stage 3 is usually the longest. And there's
Yeah.
usually a green flag stop in that stage.
Usually.
Yes, there's usually an expected green flag stop, unless there's the very timely caution. But for some drivers, the caution in stage 3 proved untimely because drivers had to start saving fuel to try and get to the end, which was a highly entertaining battle because it's all about fuel saving.
A Mexican standoff of fuel consumption between Hocevar, who ended up in the lead here thanks to taking good performances from his pit crew and taking a little less fuel. So it was interesting there. Him.
It's always the gamble. It's track position versus fuel. It's the gamble, as Jeff Burton calls it, or Steve Letarte calls it. It's the fuel tax. When are you gonna? Everyone needs the same amount of fuel to get to the end. So when are you gonna pay for that time to get that fuel, or you put less fuel in the car and you pay it out on the racetrack in fuel saving?
Yep. So it was a battle between Hocevar, Ty Gibbs, who kind of got there late, William Byron, who was in it the whole time,
And
Kyle
Kyle
Larson,
Larson,
who was running there but never really in the mix. It was really Byron and Hocevar going at it, but then there was Hamlin, who was running sixth on the road and the first car with enough fuel to make it to the end.
but barely.
But
He ran out on his celebration. He was like quarter lap to the good, I believe, as Chris Gale put it. And yeah, and I was really grateful for that burn bar graphic. That was
incredibly
really
helpful.
helpful to see. And that made it a lot easier to visualize how much everyone is saving. And it's a very useful tool that Prime has put together.
Yeah, Prime
Kudos
has
to the Prime Video team.
the Prime, all of their UI, their timing tower, the replay system, the highlights. Prime does all that stuff. I'm sure there's a term for it, I just can't think of it now. Prime does all of that stuff a lot better than Fox. I think Fox has a little bit better commentary and reporting crew.
Fox, I believe, has better commentary.
But
And and personally, I think the Fox graphics are pretty clean for me, but the Prime graphics are pretty good as well. Prime
they provide
Prime has more statistics than Fox does because of probably from their AI thing that AWS that F1 has been using. So they can probably get those statistics a lot better, and that results in probably just equally as good as the Fox broadcast. I enjoy this broadcast. I think the only downside is that for these 5 races, I have to switch the way I watch the race because it's exclusively streamed on Prime. So that's the only thing I dislike about the Prime broadcast, and it's the fact that it's on Prime and I can't get this with my usual TV provider.
Yeah, I mean,
And it messes with my recordings.
Yeah, it's not as bad as like having, for example, we live in, for example, I'm a Atlanta Braves fan. So back when 2022, 2023, a lot of their games used to get picked up by Apple TV, and since like nobody has Apple TV, it was really inconvenient to watch them. But I mean, since just about everyone and their mother has an Amazon Prime subscription, then Prime Video is probably the most accessible of all the streaming platforms, so it's not super bad.
Yes, because of the complimentary paying to get the free delivery that Amazon Prime offers,
which is all the more valuable than Prime Video.
Yes, yeah, more. If you're paying grocery bills and delivery bills, then yes, it's more valuable than Prime Video.
Yes, yeah. So
if you're not, then it's not valuable, but Prime Video is valuable.
The fuel battles were the only big thing in stage 3. Gilliland had a blowout on lap 146. Other than that, it was just heated fuel battles.
Yes, and then Hovercar cut a tire.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Hovercar. Every time he's got a shot, something has to happen. Every time.
Yeah, engine blew in Charlotte, and now he cut a tire in Michigan. Very sad. Very, very sad.
Yep.
Hovercar is here to stay. He is lightning fast. Hit a bit of a slump late in the spring section of the season, but he's locked in now. We need a hover car in our playoffs.
Well, he's gonna get there.
He's going to
He'll
get there. Coming into this race, he was minus 4 points to the playoff bubble. So he's knocking on the door. Now he's 18 points down. But he's right there. There's a shot. Now the history doesn't support that because Fox showed a stat earlier this year. I think I might have mentioned it in the podcast, but he was a certain amount of points behind, and I don't believe any driver had made it from that far behind, coming 12 races into the season.
You never know; he could be the first.
But he could be the first. I mean, he was right. He's right there. And I mean, who knows what Kyle Busch's form is going to look like?
Yeah, Kyle Busch has been hit or miss this season. Hovercar's been in contention at least 3 times, and who knows what would have happened at Texas if he had stayed up there. Kyle Busch hasn't been anywhere near the lead.
He's never had race-winning pace all year.
This year.
And of course, with Alex Bowman is a bit further along the road on the playoff thing, but with his current form, he's not doing great. And he's on a bit of a slump right now. Hovercar could overtake him as well. But yes, you never know.
Right, yeah. Ultimately, Denny Hamlin crosses the line to take the win, just ahead of Chris Buescher. Even if Hocevar hadn't blown a tire, I don't think he could have gotten a win just because Hamlin
because of his fuel position.
Hamlin was the first car on the road with enough fuel.
The broadcast, anyway. I believe Luke Lambert said he was 4 laps short, which is a long way around, and that's just not great. And I don't think the caution would have come out even if he had been able to stay out on the racetrack. So he tried his best.
He did.
And then Byron drops out as well, and that ruined his race. And then there's Ty Gibbs right there,
so he could go for it. Gibbs, he's my over ultimately because this is the best result I've seen him have in a while. He fuel saved very well compared to he didn't have to drop all the way back like Larson did, and he didn't end up running out like Byron. So I think props to Gibbs. He gets my over.
Yes, he had put together a good result. Ty Gibbs usually does pretty well in the summer, so keep an eye out for Gibbs in the coming races. He did well in the last year's summer as well, and was able to point his way into the playoffs. Of course, he's not in a position to do that this year.
Yeah, he has to
because he is 52 points behind Ryan Preece and Kyle Busch, who are right there on the bubble. Yeah, we'll need to. So he'll need to get a win. He's in a must-win situation this year. And yeah, what did I say my over was?
Texted it to me.
I did. Yeah, I'd also like to give props to Chris Buescher, who showed up late. He was able to fuel save and put himself into a position to land in second after Byron pitted for fuel. And honestly, I think Byron is probably my under because he was in the position to win. He ultimately just didn't save enough. I think he might have been able to save enough. I'm not completely clued into the entire situation, but he probably could have saved more. He could have utilized Hovercar's draft a bit more and maybe used Hamlin's draft a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I see your point.
He probably could have finished more. And he had the fastest race car on the day, I think. He was fast the entire race. That's my under.
My under was Chase Briscoe. Purely because 2 poles in a row and then 2 underperformances in a row. I mean, he's looking like Charles Leclerc, who's good on Saturday, but struggles on the Sunday.
Yes.
I'm looking to Briscoe especially. Briscoe's on Joe Gibbs, right?
Briscoe is Joe Gibbs.
And considering his Joe Gibbs teammates won the race and had a shot at the lead, then he needs to pick up his Sunday performance, so he's my under.
Yeah, my over is good old Bad Brad. Managed to bring in a top 10 performance.
Brad. Let's go, Brad.
But considering where he started in 27th, brings it home in top 10. And I believe he was, I want to say, I looked at this last night, to determine who my over was.
Yeah, shout out to the whole RFK team. Top 10 for the whole team, which, especially coming off having a triple DNF earlier in the season, that they finally got a good result, which they needed.
Yes.
2nd, 9th, and 10th.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, I believe Brian Keselowski restarted. Looks like it was 15th, and then that green flag run started. And he dropped down to 20th on the restart, and then just grinded his way into the top 10 by the time that green flag run ended.
Yep. And nothing went wrong for him for once.
Yeah, just did everything right. Just made no mistakes.
Yep.
Just got into the top 10.
Good job, Bad Brad.
Yeah, well earned top 10. Not going to get you
Right.
into the playoffs because it's a must win.
Yeah.
But keep working on it. This season is not going well for him. We've talked about this many times, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's
been
not
Bad
going
Brad's
well
year.
for him.
Yeah, I guess final notes. Shout out to Hamlin for joining the elusive list of drivers to win after their 700th start.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Only a
Ross
handful of
Chastain.
drivers have done that, let alone do it multiple times. Denny Hamlin could probably do it quite a number of times.
He could probably match Kevin Harvick's number of 7 wins.
Yes. Richard Petty, I'm not
No,
sure. 22 is
Hamlin's
nuts.
not getting 22, but
Yeah, 22
he
is
could
nuts.
definitely get up to Harvick, who's in 2nd.
Yeah.
Our podcast is better than Kevin Harvick's, by the way. I'm gonna give a shout out to Ross Chastain for doing his thing again. 20th to 6th. Pretty big moving. Zane Smith, too, actually getting a good qualifying and staying up there. Those are my and
Yeah,
Bubba
Zane
Wallace
Smith had
for
good
another
pace.
top 5. So those are my shout outs for the race. All right, anything else you wanna hit on?
Yeah, I'm just mad that Denny Hamlin won.
Yeah, we don't like Hamlin.
No Hamlin. I'm sad he beat our favorite driver, and it wasn't even his. And he didn't even do anything to do it too, so he has no excuse to say that.
11 against the world is true because nobody likes Denny Hamlin. All right, is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode. We will be, or more specifically, I will be out of town for these next 2 weeks. So coming to you, we will have F1 for Dummies and a deep dive into Abu Dhabi 2021. What it is, what happened, why it's controversial, and why Team LH is crazy. Keep in touch for that. Follow or subscribe depending on your platform. Join the Discord linked in the show description. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.